Welcome back, Ronin Renegades. I am Lupine Fiasco. This is Daily FaB Gameplay, and today we are queuing up with FaB against Maxx. For anyone who's new to the channel, welcome to the Resistance. What we do here is review replays of games I played on the Talishar client days or weeks ago, after enough time has passed that I lose my bias and can more objectively judge the quality of my play. I will talk through turn cycles and give my thoughts on the line I would take now compared to the line I took then at the time of recording. We either learn from my mistakes or reinforce good play patterns with the overall goal of tightening and optimizing our gameplay in the future, to take down paper events like the upcoming Calling Los Angeles, and most importantly, walk away with that shiny, shiny cardboard. If you'd like to check out the list I'm playing here or try it for yourself on Talishar, there is a FaB deck link in the video description below. While you're down there, if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. A YouTube subscription is the best free way to support me and to make sure that you see daily FaB gameplay in your video feed 5 days a week. The best paid way to support me is through Patreon, and a Patreon link is also in the video description. A Patreon subscription will get you access to the DFG Discord. At higher tiers, your name will appear in every DFG video. You'll get bonus DFG content every week, and there are even more benefits to come. Daily FaB gameplay will always be free 5 days a week, so for those who can afford to patronize me, I truly appreciate it. Let's talk about our sideboarding and about the Maxx game plan. The name of the Maxx game plan is Disruption. Maxx traditionally and typically is a combo deck, trying to construct the Nitro Mechanoid and combine it with something like a high octane for a big damage turn, or if nothing else, just blocking for 12 to 17 every turn and sending 6 back. That is a winning strategy in any aggro matchup, so we need to try to beat Maxx before that happens. By disruption, I do mean Warmonger's Diplomacy. It has a lot of utility in this matchup. It will turn off Maxx's ability to make hyperdrivers. It will turn off Maxx's ability to play the Mechanoid and attack with it in the same turn. It will also hit any of Maxx's random non-attack actions, like recharge, gas up, non-token hyperdrivers from hand. So Warmonger's Diplomacy really is a must-play card in this matchup. We aren't looking to pitch or block with it in 99% of cases. For sideboarding, we are keeping an aggressive plan. We want to play Mask of the Pouncing Lynx rather than Mask of Momentum. Maxx, being a combo deck, is going to want to block anyway. If he can keep 2 cards in hand, that will give him the resources he needs to attack with a boost attack, then activate his hero power to make a hyperdriver and pass. So we aren't messing up his plan by forcing him to block our momentum triggers, and it's something he wants to do anyway, so we are going to keep Pouncing Lynx to set up an explosive turn. You could run Spring Tunic in this matchup. I think the Furnace is still a good choice for blocking the Mechanoid if it does come down. The Mechanoid is not an instant win. We do have time after the Mechanoid gets played to try and steal a win out from under it. And Furnace is going to allow us to block through Overpower and give us an additional 2 life to play with. I had said that Disruption is the name of the game, so why aren't we playing Command and Conquer? Well, the short answer is Maxx just has too many ways to block it. Most of his cards block for 3. He does have a reasonable armor suite. We only have 2 Command and Conquers, and if the turn doesn't line up well to play it, it can be a lot clunkier than something like a Tenacity. Considering Maxx's endgame of blocking for 12 to 17 with 4 to 5 cards and attacking with the Mechanoid, Tenacity has a lot of value in an endgame scenario. If Maxx does commit to blocking out all of our attacks, then a Tenacity for 7 to 8 damage is solid for closing out a game. So we're going to leave CNC in the sideboard. We don't need the defense reactions. Ancestral Empowerment really is not a card that I like for any matchup that isn't Victor or maybe Warrior. It can be clunky. And we would rather make sure that our hands are consistently doing damage to Maxx, so we're going to leave it in the sideboard. Outside of prioritizing playing Warmonger's Diplomacy, we are slanting towards aggro here. We're not playing for overall value, we're playing for aggressive value. So if you have the option to block for 3 or attack for 3, unless you're facing lethal damage, you do want to attack. If you could block for 4 or attack for 3, the math can get a little murky, but you still probably want to attack. And we'll see some situations like that in this game. So, without further ado, let's jump into it and see if we can take the win. We are going second in this matchup, Maxx correctly taking the opportunity to make a hyperdriver on turn 1. Playing out a crankshaft with the boost. We are going to want to cover this for 4. We would like to prioritize keeping Spreading Flames and a blue if possible, but if nothing else, we want our Spreading Flames. So we could block this with 2 blocks and hold on to our Lava Vein Loyalty in case we need to cover up any extra damage. If it's between taking damage to keep a Spreading Flames or blocking with a Spreading Flames, I tend to prioritize damage mitigation. So here Maxx is going to make the hyperdriver. I believe this is a newer Maxx player. I don't think cranking to get in pistol damage on turn 1 is correct. I edited out some of the gameplay, but this Maxx did try to undo and eventually decided to just move ahead with the turn. As far as our crackback, this turn, his hand is not good. But we do get to at least attack. We aren't going to Art of War here. This is a pretty weak Art of War turn and is really dependent on us drawing a blue from the top of our deck. We would rather just preserve some of our power cards. We will shuffle our deck after we break Mask of the Pouncing Lynx. So having an Art of War and a Spreading Flames at the bottom of the deck doesn't mean that we'll never see them again. And what that means is we are going to attack with Cinderclaw, we're going to pitch Art of War to attack with Emberblade, we're going to pitch Spreading Flames to pick up and play Phoenix Flame, and then we're going to arsenal the second Spreading Flames in our hand and just wait to be able to put a bigger turn together. It is a little unfortunate that we're seeing so many power cards early. We really want to put a 5-card Spreading Flames or Art of War turn together because we need to punch through Maxx's armor. He does effectively have an extra 5 life based on the armor, plus so many of his cards block for 3. We draw into a fine hand. With the blue and the Spreading Flames, we do have the option to just send 6 on our turn. With our E-Strike and our Tenacity, we could block this for 6. But we can also just Spreading Flames, Emberblade, E-Strike for 7. My first thought in this game was to block for 6 here, just preserve some life total. But like I was talking about in the intro, we do want to prioritize offensive value. This is a case where E-Strike for 7 is more value than blocking for 6 with E-Strike and Tenacity. So it isn't that much of a no-brainer. But there is a temptation to block here, play a little mid-rangey, still send 6 on our turn, but we will just take this damage. We will send 13 on our turn rather than get 12 value overall. Maxx here generating the resources to make a hyperdriver. This is still a situation where I don't know what these 2 cards in Maxx's hand are. I'm kind of guessing. Again, newer Maxx player. Didn't think to activate the pistol before using Maxx's ability, so correctly not cranking this hyperdriver, but getting that intellect penalty by keeping an extra card in hand, maybe missing some value on just loading the pistol. We are, like I said, sending 13 damage here. We are going to keep Spreading Flames in arsenal, cycling the first one out just so that our opponent doesn't necessarily know what the card is. Here we do draw that Warmonger's Diplomacy, so I'm not looking to block here. If I can, I would like to Ronin Renegade, pitch Nasty Surprise for Emberblade, play Brand with Cinderclaw, get a Phoenix Flame in here, and end the turn with a Warmonger's Diplomacy. We'll have to think about whether we want to work Spreading Flames into here as well. The answer most likely is yes, because we can get extra value from our yellow brand, which will buff up the Emberblade. Very briefly, we'll talk about that Flamescale Furnace block. I think it was a mistake. I think getting that Furnace value this early is a mistake against Mechanologist. I always like to block with the Furnace when we're somewhere between 10 and 20 life, regardless of the matchup, because I want to make sure that I'm getting that block value. Let's say we get to a point where we're at 10 life, and we still have both blocks of Furnace available, and our opponent puts a really big turn together without breaking the chain. We block with Furnace for 2, the chain never breaks, so we never get the opportunity to block with Furnace for 1, which potentially kills us. So I do like to get my Furnace value early. I think it's a mistake to get it this early against Mech because of T-Bone. So against this first T-Bone, we'll block with Snapdragon Scalers, but if this last card in Max's hand is also a T-Bone, then we lose our Shuko. And I would have rather just taken 2 more damage from that Twin Drive than give up my Shuko. We need to reveal 3 cards, one of which will be used to block this Pulse Wave Harpoon. So I had said that we want to hold on to our Warmonger's Diplomacy if possible. I believe I am about to check the battlefield. So Maxx currently has 2 Hyperdrivers. He'll still have an action point after this link closes, 1 floating resource to use Foundry Heart, which will let him make the 3rd Hyperdriver. Warmonger's Diplomacy has a little less value after Maxx has 3 Hyperdrivers because, yes, we delay him from playing the Mechanoid, but that's it. We would rather delay him from making a Hyperdriver than the Mechanoid, so Warmonger's Diplomacy value does go down here. My initial thought had been let's reveal 2 starters and a Nasty Surprise. Regardless of what Maxx takes, we have a turn. Very likely not firing off the Spreading Flames this turn. If we lose one of our blues, then we lose the ability to cleanly work an Emberblade in here and also disrupt. If we lose one of our reds, then our turn value goes way down. Maxx still has all of his armor. He will have 4 cards. He only needs 3 to play the Mechanoid on this turn, or he could block with 3 cards, arsenal the Mechanoid, and just wait. So I would rather get a little more value out of this turn. What I want to do here is show yellow brand and my 2 blues. I think Maxx is going to take the Warmonger's Diplomacy, noting that it will prevent him from playing the Mechanoid. But we don't necessarily care about that. We're still at 23 life. Maxx is going to need to sustain for a little longer in order to get value out of that Mechanoid, and we still have a Spreading Flames that we're counting on. So Maxx does take the Warmonger's Diplomacy. We're going to take our 1 here. We can think about whether we want to play out Spreading Flames this turn. If we do, this turn looks like Spreading Flames for 3, Ronin Renegade for 3, Brand with Cinderclaw for 3, Emberblade for 4, Phoenix Flame for 3, looking at maybe grabbing a Lava Burst at the end of the turn, which would come in for 6. So that is big damage, definitely. That's what? 3, 6, 9, 13, 16, a potential 22. But again, that doesn't kill Maxx. Even just blocking with armor keeps him alive. Depending on what he drew, he can still play the Mechanoid, get some damage in, and now put us in that position where we need to bust through 17 points of block value every turn, and still withstand taking 6 points of damage on the crackback. So I like saving the Spreading Flames here, But we can also play this turn a little more conservatively. We lead with Ronin Renegade, see if Maxx chooses to block at all. He does, which makes me think that we don't have to worry about a big Mechanoid turn, and that to me is the signal to wait on firing off the Spreading Flames. We'll just get our 3 from the Emberblade, 2 from Brand, another 2 from Phoenix Flame, and wait on firing off the Spreading Flames. I'm not sure why the Firewall comes down on the Brand with Cinderclaw, potentially Maxx trying to get value out of it, but I would have thought on the Emberblade, maybe he thinks that we have a Lava Burst in Arsenal and is holding on to a second Firewall, I'm not sure. But this is a gas hand. We are going to Spreading Flames Art of War here, pitching Warmonger's Diplomacy to play the Spreading Flames in the Art of War, banishing Brand with Cinderclaw to the Art of War to draw 2 cards. We'll see what we draw and what Maxx decides to give us on defense. Spreading Flames does get blocked. We are going to fire off the Art of War now, get a point of damage over. We draw really well. 2 more 0-cost red attacks, one of them being a Lava Burst, which is going to pair super well with Shuko and with Snapdragon Scalers. We aren't looking to break Pouncing Links here. I want to see more of what Maxx is going to block with. If he commits all of his cards in armor to blocking Blaze Headlong, Brand with Cinderclaw, maybe even Phoenix Flame, then we are going to get our tutor off of Lava Burst. So I'm really not concerned about losing out on Pouncing Link's value here. We don't need to break this early. We can wait to see if Maxx is going to do more blocking. Maybe it's Tenacity. If Maxx just takes a bunch of damage, maybe it's Salt. Here, Maxx giving us 3 cards on defense, but also taking damage from Blaze Headlong. We are going to grab Tenacity. That is also going to change how we sequence our turn. At this point, with 1 floating resource, I'm going to pick up and play Phoenix Flame to get another Draconic Link on the chain. This is all working towards making sure Brand with Cinderclaw gets the Spreading Flames buff. So we're going to lead with Phoenix Flame here, then we're going to play our Lava Burst, which will get the Spreading Flames, Shuko, Art of War buff. We're going to snap the Lava Burst, then play our Brand with Cinderclaw, and then end with Tenacity. Tenacity becomes Draconic thanks to Brand with Cinderclaw, so it also gets the Spreading Flames buff. This is just going to be a huge turn. We know that Maxx needs to give us cards on defense just to survive, and that is going to make us a very large Tenacity. Even getting 2 cards to stop the Brand with Cinderclaw. This is a 10 damage Tenacity, so just a massive turn from us. Definitely think we drew very well there. We aren't guaranteed to have that turn, but holding on to that Spreading Flames, just digging through our deck until we find that other Art of War or even another Spreading Flames would have been nice. Not that we had one available, but maybe in another world we did. Just put a really solid combo turn together. I think getting the Phoenix Flame in there early was still a nice call. We could have tried to sequence differently to pitch a Phoenix Flame to be able to work an Emberblade in there, but the way that we then get the Emberblade buff is that we have to play our Brand with Cinderclaw on link 3. The Brand doesn't get the Spreading Flames buff. The Tenacity doesn't get the Spreading Flames buff. We can't work our Lava Burst in on link 3 to get us a free Phoenix Flame because then Lava Burst doesn't get Rupture. So I think that was the way the turn needed to go, and we were paid off for it. So I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you learned something. If so, be sure to head jab that like button. My comments are always open for any questions or feedback. Again, if you have not already done so, please consider a YouTube subscription. It's free. It helps me out. Today is Thursday. I am traveling to Los Angeles this afternoon. I'll be in LA the entire weekend for side events, the calling, whatever. So if you're also going to be in LA and you see me, come up and say hi. I love meeting everyone. If not, I'll have tournament calling, general venue coverage coming up next week, and hopefully can keep you all up to date on what I've been up to. But no matter what, catch me back here tomorrow. I have a pre-recorded video, one last piece of daily FaB gameplay this week, and I will see you then. So take care.